Here's what my favorite crypto and stocks expert are buying and selling this week. Let's check it out.
What I am getting more excited about is Google, right? Google, man. The chart looks beautiful. It's got to be one of the best looking big tech charts. And it's because the story is coming together. You know, the AI story. They're a threat. They're a threat to a lot of companies. This is a powerhouse big tech. And like I said, you know, there's so many ways of looking at the value of Google. And I think it's underrated. It's definitely not overpriced in my opinion. But that's what I'm doing with my money, right? Yeah. I'm just right now adding to Google. The chart looks great. I highlighted something when he had it up, which was that we've opened and closed a candle above that September peak that we made. That's right. Which means that September move is in full continuation. Yep. So do what you want to do.
Now, there's an AI bubble, but the quantum computing bubble is 4 times the size of AI. But that doesn't mean that quantum computing is not real and investable. It is. But it's just when you get in, it's your purchase price. First, rare earths and chips. Now quantum computing, Trump reportedly eyes. That was a day ago, right? So here's some quantum computing stock that I dollar cost average in anyway. Well, one, AMD stock pops 6%. That's 3 hours ago. So AMD is a stock that I'm buying, and I've been buying. I've been dollar cost averaging. Now, I don't have any IBM, but these are 2 stocks, or these are 2 companies that are already in quantum computing and are really big, okay? And then they ask, quantum computing stock soars on government stake. Y'all see that, right?
Again, and I want to give you a specific example. There's a stock called AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. It's a computer chip company. And check this out. If you look at my history, you'll see that just today, October 24th, 2025, I had just bought $25 of it. I know what you're thinking. Keenan, I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't have millions of dollars. I don't have $5,000. How am I going to invest? Take a look at this. Make sure you're paying close attention. I'm buying $25 a day of AMD on a reoccurring investment. Right now, on my AMD position in my trading account, I am up $4,660. I send out buy alerts on this. I told everybody I was going to be dollar cost averaging into this, and this is what I'm doing. But not just that. I also told everybody when I was going to pick up not even 100 shares of it, not even 10 shares of it, but just 5 shares of it when it was $166. How many people could have done that? How many people got $160 sitting in their account? How many people got $160 sitting on a dresser or in their savings account or in a shoebox under their bed, and they could have flipped that and made some money with us by understanding the stock market? And this was just a month and a half ago that we did this. But let's talk about AMD right now. Advanced Micro Devices is currently $253. This stock right here, long term, is a $400, if not $500 stock if AMD still has the demand from the artificial intelligence wave that we are in right now. This one is going to pump long term, and I'm looking to hold on to it and actually build into it. Not all at once, but day by day. With using proper risk management, you got to understand how to flow in this market. The day is going to come when we get into a bear market, but that's when we really get busy. That's when all of these YouTubers out here, they start to disappear around you and you never see them again. But the people like us, the people who are rolling with me, I take under my wing and I say, yo, we're going to fly right to the promised land. We got this. This is when the wealth is transferred, when you understand when to buy it.
Stick with it. Let me show you one of my second favorite stocks after Google, and that's going to be BABA, baby. BABA, now I talked about this in a recent video, but I want to explain it more, okay? I don't want you guys not to understand this. There's a strong history. These are monthly candles that when BABA begins to break out, so it went through this period of sideways consolidation, and it moved up and it consolidated for 3 months, moved higher, consolidated for 3 months, and then moved higher. And so technically, we're in a situation where we could cool off, especially if that trade deal doesn't get worked out, and we could consolidate and pull back between this 163 and 145. But if you go back and you look at the history of the past, when it turned around and took a step up and pulled back for 3 months, took a step up and pulled back for 3 months, after those two stages in which it broke out above the consolidation area, similar to where we're at right now, it ripped. It ripped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months straight. And that's kind of what we need to be on watch for right now is we are potentially, if this is a move similar to this move, and the catalysts support it, the AI story and potentially a trade deal opportunity supports it, we are halfway through a potential massive move that could lead Alibaba up to 250, right? And what's the trigger? I love to give triggers. The trigger, man, that's what it's all about, is 180. Sure. Okay. And you can see that this candle, it turned red on us. Okay. And it pulled back a little bit, but it's slowly creeping back up to that 180. And if it turns green, we're going to get another expansion candle like this, and we're going to shoot straight to 210. So I'm just wanting you guys to be fully and amply and completely warned about what it is I'm watching. There's always risk. It's not as simple as buy Baba, go long.
Let's get started. 1.0 is a 50, 30, 20 strategy. I take 50% of the money that I make, because I am actively earning money, and I put it in a broad-based stock market ETF. My choice of broad-based stock market ETF is an S&P 500 ETF. And right now, I'm invested in SPLG. Why do I like SPLG? Because it tracks the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 index has the top 500 companies in America in it. So if I'm going to invest in equities, I want to be in the top 500 companies in America. And that's what SPLG gives me. I take 30% of my money and I put it in what we call a sector ETF. Now we have about 11, 12 sectors of industry here in America. My favorite is the tech industry. But I take it one step further and I drill down to a area of tech that I really like, which is information technology. So I take 30% of the money that I invest and I put it in a ETF that tracks the information technology sector. And the ETF that I've chosen is FTEC. It has about 374 information technology companies in that particular ETF. And it's done pretty well over the last 10 years. So performance is a big deal for me. Before I invest my money in anything, I go out and I look at the performance of a particular investment. I take 20% of the money I invest in this 50, 30, 20 wealth transfer blueprint plan, and I put it in individual stocks. Now, I'm not a big individual stock picker because I believe, I'm not an expert. So I don't want to just lean on my knowledge to be able to build my wealth. I'd rather lean on the knowledge of experts like the ETFs that I invest in. I do like individual stocks, and I do want to take some of my money and put it in individual stocks. So for me, it's the Magnificent Seven most valuable companies in the world by market cap. I like those companies because they're big, they make money, and they got a historical track record of performance. Individual stocks that I invest in, there are 4 of them that I like. The first one is NVIDIA. The second one is Palantir. The third one is Rocket Lab. And then the fourth one is MP Materials. I would recommend you guys go out and do some homework, do some research on those 4 if that's something that you want to do.
So Tom Lee thinks in the next 5 years that Bitcoin will hit 1.6 to $2 million in the next 5 years. And I said $500,000 in the next 4 years. And Tom Lee is saying 1.6 to 2 million in the next 5 years. And he still thinks that Bitcoin could hit 200K by the end of this year. Now that's Tom Lee. He's a perma bull. I get it. But I agree with him in the direction of both. I do believe in the next 8 years we will be $1 million, and I believe we will be $500,000, 480 to $500,000 in the next 4 years. Right now, if it goes more than that, which it could, because there's more millionaires than there are Bitcoin in the United States alone. Okay, so this is, I'm not overhyping, but what you're going to need is patience. Okay, so
I remember back, and here goes the story. For those who hate stories, this is what you're going to get anyways. I made an investment club with a bunch of my working buddies many years ago. And one of the things that we did was we all put a lot of money in the market. And we started with like, I don't even know, a couple $100 a piece in for 10 of us, like $300 a piece. So we had like 3,000 stocks, and we put in, I think it was like $25 every 2 weeks or something like this. It wasn't much. And so we put in a couple $1,000 per year altogether, and then we tried to build it up. After a couple of years, it was like 3 or 4 years, I ended up being able to help them, of course, turn it into $100,000. Everybody was pumped. And they couldn't believe it. But that's, you do things right, you chart right, you do the fundamentals right, you can do that. So at that point, I told them, we only live once. I have a investment I think will pay us big time. And I said, let's go ahead and let's go for it. And this was years and years and years ago. I said, there's 2 things that I want to invest in. I said, these things called Bitcoin and Ethereum. I said, let's go ahead and take quarter to half of our money and put it into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it had to be unanimous for everybody to do it because it was so high risk. And I had 9 out of 10 said yes. But there was one person who said, I read something that it's just not going to work. I don't want to do it. So we did not do it. Now, I did it on the outside, but they didn't want to do it as, one person didn't want to do it. So we didn't do it. And that 25 to 50,000 would be worth over $1 million today. And it's another one of them things I look back in life and go, oh, why not? Why didn't we? Why didn't we? We could have helped not just myself, but all of us. And that's where I'm at now when I look at this on this channel. What am I going to do today? How much do I believe in crypto? And the answer is big. Like, I see a few asset classes that I really like right now. As the Fed rates come down, love the mortgage rates get down into 5 anything. I love refinancing. I think refinancing is going to start really kicking in after we get into the 5s, mortgage buying, all that. So I like that. I like some of the companies related to those. You're going to see me making moves. I got burned a little bit on one, but that's okay. I'm going to come back and revisit. And I think I'm going to be able to do extremely well. But another asset class I like, of course, is crypto. So much so, I already have $1 million in crypto. I want to get it higher. I think I want to get it up to $2 million in crypto. You heard me right. $2 million in crypto. I could be wrong. And I don't think I will be. But if it does what I think it can do, if we can get a fraction of what we hear out in the business world, oh, these can go here, this could go there, just say they're right. And remember, at one time, Bitcoin was what, $100? Not even. Now we're at 100,000. Could we go up 2 times, 3 times, 10 times? What about Ethereum? Could that go 2, 3, 10? What about XRP, Solana? I got all 4 at 6 digits or more. And so that's what I'm looking at.
So those are some great insights into what some of my top and favorite crypto and stocks experts are going to be buying, holding, or selling. And I've personally picked 1 or 2 that I think I am definitely going to be jumping into, and some that I'll be getting out of based on some of the information I've received from these guys. So shout out to Josh, Stocks with Josh. Shout out to Keenan Grace, to Larry Jones, Stock Up with Larry Jones. Shout out to Stock Mo and all the other guys that we're learning from. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if you're going to be buying, holding, or selling any of these that were mentioned. Kindly like the video and also consider subscribing to the channel so that you can keep up to date with more videos as they come out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.